Hi, my love. This is going to be your mini session. So for the mini reading, we're going to be looking into the dynamics of your relationship that you're currently in and the question regarding, you know, what could happen and whatnot. So what I want to do is I want to pull, I'm keeping it vague because it's for, you know, for confidentiality purposes. But I'm going to pull on the energy of your relationship and then we're just going to go from there. So we have listening popping up. Listening with the throat chakra energy, and listening to me is all about, that's a form of communication, okay? You really need to focus inward, focus in on what the other person is really saying, okay? And I feel like it's not just through a verbal sense, it's also an emotional sense. What are their emotional cues, their physical, you know, their physical body temperaments, that kind of thing. But really needing to tune into that. We have emotional healing, we have winter, and we have walk away, okay? So what I'm feeling with that is the emotional healing is coming up as a personal sense, okay? The emotional healing is the emotions between you and your relationship, in this relationship. There's a lot of brokenness. There's a lot of voids that need to be filled. And sometimes we tend to fill the voids with other people, other emotions, other distractions. So when the emotional healing takes place, and if you find you guys that are still stuck in the same situation, which interesting enough is kind of what the cards are showing. We have the Four of Cups, the King of Swords, and the Empress card. It's going to be a matter of you taking it into your own hands. That's how I'm seeing it. Four of Cups tells me that even after the emotional healing process, there is going to be a state of stagnancy, not wanting to take the offer of healing, not wanting to fix things between the two of you. King of Swords stance is a very strict, a very person who is set in their ways, somebody who doesn't want to change at times. I'm really reading it as more of a negative, like a King of Swords in reversed. So I feel like this individual would represent the lover in the situation. So they're very set in their ways. And if they are just not looking to heal, they're not looking to advance and to fix things, you are kind of left with taking matters into your own hands, which is the Empress. And to me, this is all about the need to for yourself, watching out for yourself, nurturing the self, okay? And I feel like that's what's happening here. We have the Winter card popping up, which is kind of giving me an insight of by winter next year, okay? It's almost like you're gonna hold this out through maybe even through to the fall. But I feel like by winter usually begins in what, December, I believe. You're gonna start to see things. Yeah, you're gonna start to see things for what they really are. You're not ready to turn your back just yet. You're willing to do the emotional healing process to see if this individual, this King of Swords that we're talking about here, if they are ready to make things work, to fix the holes that are in this marriage, right? But what I'm seeing here is with the winter, by winter time, by you literally setting a time frame by December this year, and I'm just saying it because that's when winter starts, or maybe it's even November, but when winter starts, to me it's kind of like, that's my time frame. I'm cutting it off. If you're not changing and we're not evolving by this time, I'm gonna start doing me. And that's what the Empress is all about. She's about creating something new, a new space. And then we have walk away. So that's really, really, really apparent to me, is like, it's almost like you're willing to give it a shot. You're willing to listen and hear them out. You're willing to give them the opportunity to change and for the both of you to change and to work towards something. But then it's like, if nothing happens and nothing goes for the better by a certain time frame, you're going to start to take your exit route, right? So what I pulled here with the oracles, we have fairies, we have earth magic coming up. We have breath, and then we also have solitude, So I see it as almost like earth magic is like you're going to start fertilizing the soil in your marriage again, okay? This is where you guys are, you're going to be listening. You're going to hopefully try to do the emotional healing process and see if your significant other is ready for that. And then we're going to take a breath, okay? The breath is like the pause. That's the waiting game. This is where you see if things are changing for the better. And then, of course, if you do not see it changing, we have solitude, which is a time of literally being alone, okay? So during that process, I feel like you're going to be going through a big phase, a big shift, a big shift. So I feel like the cards are kind of revealing like you want to take that exit route if you see that nothing is changing. And I don't blame you. I mean, you're doing everything that you can. So let's look on the situation of the other person that we're talking about, that you mentioned. Let's pull on the energy of that. And let's see what the energy looks like for that. So we have clarity with the third eye. To me, the clarity, and it's like shows the image of the big giant crystals. It's crystal clear. So I feel like that's like the first thing pop into my mind is crystal clear. So this individual is very, very, very upfront with you about what they feel. They don't beat around the bush. They are very they will tell it like it is. They will tell you exactly what's on their mind and their heart. There's no fogginess around them. You know what they feel and what they mean when they say it. So we have admit your true feelings to yourself. We have daughter coming up. I don't know if you have kids, but if you do have kids, the kids playing a role in this will give you a huge impact on the situation, like what you should do. And I feel like maybe that is tapping into, maybe the daughter card is popping up as, you know, if you do have kids, seeing your children's perspective. How is their energy like when they're around, your marriage dynamic with how it is versus, you know, what you think their lifestyle would be like if you were to, you know, exit from that marriage. And we have patience, please. I love it. So I feel like with this situation, with this individual, admit your true feelings to yourself. This is a time for you to really gain clarity on what you really feel about this person, okay? Without the feelings of guilt. I mean, you know, being involved in a relationship and then, you know, seeing your feelings for somebody else on the side can be tricky, I understand. But it's also important that you are true to yourself and you are true to your feelings and you are honoring that, because you can't be with one person and then have feelings for someone else and expect the relationship with the other person to work, because your heart is going both ways. So I feel like this is a need for you to really dig deep and ask yourself, what are my true feelings, and write it down and do your pros and cons list and all of that to help you put it into perspective. Also put into perspective the children. If there are children involved, you know, get a feel for them. How are they dealing with this dynamic, with this marriage, and then also with the possibility of changing their life, you know, if the marriage doesn't work out. So what I have here is I have the Eight of Wands and I have the Magician. This tells me the magic is there, okay? The magic is there. The temptation is there, because we also have, I pulled the Devil card, okay? That is temptation right there. We have the Magician is magic. It's like reigniting the flame that maybe has been burned out from your marriage. The excitement, the lust, the pleasure of life, right? And then we have the Eight of Wands, which is telling me that this process with this individual, if you were to give it a chance, tells me it would be fast paced, like very fast paced. There wouldn't be a lot of taking it slow, even though the Patience Please card came up for you, okay? So I feel like it's kind of saying, because the cards are revealing that the direction of this connection can go really fast, you need to make sure you are not making impulsive decisions right away. That's how I feel it. That's what it's saying. Because if you do make an impulsive decision, then you're definitely going to find yourself kind of like, oh shit, like I wasn't really ready for it to evolve this quickly. So I pulled the solitude card for you, which is telling me before you make any drastic decisions involving this individual, I feel like there needs to be a time of solitude for yourself. There needs to be a time where you are literally alone, okay? Alone with your thoughts and allowing yourself to really feel out what it is you truly desire. And then I pulled instinct. We have the wolf card, instinct. So to me, it's like trusting what your gut instincts are telling you. What is your gut telling you? Okay. Oh, this one wants to come out too. And we have Milky Way, perspective. So your perspective on the situation is important, but also I feel the perspective of the children. Okay. If there are children, I think you do have a child. But the perspective of the children is also important because they are the ones that are also going to be going through this situation as well, right? They may not know all the details that, like, obviously, because they're children, but their perspective and their opinions are also valid because they are going through this shift too. So that's like, to me, for that. It's also perspective is placing yourself in different scenarios and different situations. What would life be like if you were with, this individual? What would life be like if you weren't with either of them and you were solo? Or where do you see yourself being still with the person you are currently with if nothing changes? So it's like placing yourself in different perspectives to help you gain some more knowledge into helping you make that decision. You have a lot on your plate, my love, and I hope that you are able to kind of start, picking at it and pulling it apart. If you do the time frame cards, like winter time seems to be like the magical time here. So you still have time to figure things out. You still have a few months to do so. But understand life is short. So it's just like, if you're not happy and if you just do not see anything progressing and maybe the two of you would be happier not together, then do each other that favor, but also don't give up on it right away without at least listening and communicating with that person to see what's going on in their mind and their heart. So with that, my love, thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. If you have any questions about the reading, please send me an email, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, loves.